Welcome back to the Daily Nugget, Daily Property Insights. One topic, 20 minutes or less. Myself, Lotze, and joined by Tom Rawson, a property advisor. And Tom, the question for you today at the moment with people out there selling their properties, how much money is too much money to spend on marketing of your property?
Interesting question. Something that we're always kind of looking at where fair value is. I mean, you could spend $100,000 marketing your property. Will it have any extra effect than spending $10,000? I don't know. No one's ever spent $100,000 as far as I know marketing a property out in my area. $10,000 again might be too much. Typically, so we do 1,500 deals a year in our business, and I would say as an average around about 4,200 would be our typical marketing campaign. People at the moment are shopping on marketing campaigns. So if I'm looking to come to the market and one agent basically gives me a free marketing campaign versus an agent that tells me I've got to spend 4,200, for example, and they're like, well, I don't have to invest any money in selling my house with this guy, and he's going to give me a free one, and you're saying I've got to put $4,200 into selling my property. What's the difference? $4,200 goes a long way. Like, it gets you online on all the portals. I mean, we know, Lawrence, you've got to take photos of a property to sell it. Otherwise, everybody scrolls basically or flips in the books and says, oh, there's a property I like, I'll go look at it, or I'll ring the agent. So photos are important. Having a LIM report from the council, so people can make an informed decision if there's any illegal works, etc. Look at any soil contamination, flood reports, all that stuff. So that's another one. A signboard, like if I'm going to drive past the property I've seen online, which is something that people do, like I'll just cruise past and have a look at the area. It's a lot easier for the person to go, oh, that's the property, there's the signboard. So there's a lot of basics which are like non-negotiables. You must go onto the portals. Like if you were to list your property and only go onto, I don't know, let's just call it propertyforsale.co.nz, and not onto something like Trade Me, which costs money to get onto, you would be missing probably 4 out of every 5 buyers. The stats from Trade Me will probably be even higher than that. You'd be missing a lot of buyers. So when you're selling your property, you've got one chance really to make that first impression. And if I was to say to you, hey, look, we've only probably canvassed 1 out of every 5 buyers in the market at the moment, you'd be like, well, where are the other 4? How do I get a hold of them? Well, hey, look, you just got to jump on a couple of more portals. So if you could get an extra bidder to your property and that extra bidder put in $1,000 bid, isn't it worth getting them there? So there becomes a point where it's like, well, obviously you can't spend $0. You need to take some photos. And obviously there's probably not much point in spending $100,000, depending on the property, of course. But somewhere in between there, fair value. So to come back to how much is too much, or is there a level which is like a bare minimum? A bare minimum really of photographs, video, aerial photography, LIM report, signboards, they're probably around like the $2,000 mark. Adding in some portals, I still believe in print. When I travel around the country, I mean, I'm not the oldest, I'm not the youngest, but if I go to a cafe and they've got a local property magazine or a property press or something like that, I'll look at it. If I was to see a deal in there, or I'd probably go have a look at it because I've got nothing else to do. I might be just traveling around the country. So I'm an opportunistic or a passive buyer, and those are what pick up those ones. We've got a guy in our area who's got about 30 properties. He doesn't have a computer. I literally couldn't advertise to him via a portal if I spent $100,000 on it because he's just not online. He buys property out of publications. So we need to be in those as well. So if you were to ignore the publications, print publications, you'd ignore a certain amount of buyers. If you were to ignore portals, you'd and when I say portals, it's Trade Me, it's Real Estate.co.nz and all those other ones. You would miss a whole bunch of buyers. If you didn't have a signboard outside your property, you'd miss the guy jogging, driving, going, oh, I've always wanted that house. So you can spend too much and you can spend too little. And to go back to an earlier comment I just made there regarding someone throwing in a free campaign versus the other guy that comes in and goes, hey, look, it's $4,200. Get the campaigns, $4,200. Where's my hand there? $4,200 might be this amount of marketing, and the free campaign might be this amount of marketing.
Yep.
And then ring this agent and say, hey, look, Lawrence, thanks for the free marketing package you've proposed here. Just supposing money wasn't an issue, is that the same marketing campaign that you'd offer me to get me the best result for my property? And then say nothing. Just wait. Yeah. And what they typically say is, oh, I didn't realize money wasn't an issue for your marketing, and therefore I would probably recommend jumping on this portal and probably a half page or a full page in this. No, thanks, Lawrence. Appreciate the honesty. Just wondering why you'd try and undermarket my property then. And they normally, you can't see them unless you're FaceTiming them, but their face is red, they're sweating and going, oh, I was just trying to buy the listing with my free marketing campaign. I didn't really care about getting you the premium price. And so that's a bit of a concern. So if you're a investor, mum and pop, whatever, make sure, again, you're looking at the invested amount. And it's like you're selling, I don't know, what's the average price, $1 million property in Auckland?
Yeah, give or
and
take.
Spending 0.4% on marketing. I mean, I sold a car recently, call it 50 grand, trade me, made me spend $1,000 to advertise it online, and it sold within a week. That's, as a percentage, is a lot higher. Yeah.
Yep, totally.
But then we sell $1 million property and we only want to spend $1,000 too. It's like, come on.
It's so true. I think we got to get off the fact of what it is from a dollar point of view. So if anyone that's watching or listening at the moment and take back of what Tom said is, it's where to find your buyers. So from a marketing point of view, it's understanding of what you're selling. Let's go very general. I'm selling a general house in Auckland at $1 million, but fundamentally it's how am I going to find those buyers? And fundamentally, yes, a majority of them will be in online, a small percentage will be in print, but is the marketing I'm trying to achieve going to get to those people? Because I am also competing against 1,000 other houses. If I'm in a brand new subdivision, there's likely 20 that's for sale at the moment. If I'm likely in the countryside, I might not be able to find my audience because people aren't necessarily looking out in the countryside, just naturally out of the way. How do I get in front of them? And this is the thoughts to think about from not just from a dollar point of view. It's like, how do I get in front of everyone that needs to see to get to my property, and then respecting on the price point. And as Thomas said, their full pack is around their $4,000 mark. You're going up to 10 grand, you're way too expensive. If someone says, hey, I can give you all of that for $1,000, I would ask for proof, because just listing the property on all that online stuff and the print, the cost point is way above $1,000. And Tom, I must agree with you as well in one sense of, I've got the habit that the wife hates, that no matter where we travel, if we are away on a weekend or we're gone somewhere and there's print or there's something on a window, I literally are attracted to it like a bug to light. And I go and stand in the window and I look around and I look at what books on print that's there, and I pick them up and I might page through a couple of them for all of 30 seconds or a minute. But it is a habit that I have, and I know it's a habit a lot of other people have, because that is the chance of finding something. I mean, I've been in times recently, a good few months ago, I was in Taupo, and I did exactly the same thing. And I walked in and went, hold on, there's actually some really good deals floating around here at the moment. And I went home and went, should I think about Taupo at the moment? And it got me thinking, right? And it's the same way for someone else that might be out looking for a home or looking for their next thing, that the stuff that you don't think about that people do actually do it as well.
Yeah. So you touched on a really good point there, mate, which I just want to elaborate on, that when people are looking on a portal, there is a button that says like nearby suburbs.
Yep.
So let's say half of the people use it and half of them don't. So we've got, I'm not sure which area you're in. I'm in South Auckland. So an area, for example, is Clover Park in South Auckland. Within that area, as far as you could hit a golf ball, you look like you'd hit a good golf ball. You can have 5 different suburb names. There's Flatbush, Goodwood Heights, Tocha Heights, Clover Park, and Otara, all within literally like a second of each other. So depending on where you list your property, on a portal, you might be going Clover Park, but someone else is searching Flatbush or Goodwood Heights or Tocha Park. They're all right there, but you're missing them. And so that's where paying a little bit more on some of these portals goes, well, hey, look, we'll chuck it into all the suburbs around there. If you're in the print, you're actually just looking at the photos typically, because there's no way of delineating where that appears in the publication. So you've got to be everywhere, because you might miss the guy. I mean, if I was looking in Te Aratu, there's Te Aratu, there's Te Aratu South. What's the difference? You know, like I could miss your property because I'm looking in the drop-down box. I just select that suburb and not the next one down. So we need to be kind of exposing it. You're competing now. I think there's 90% more property on the market. It's crazy. So if you're spending less on marketing when there's double the competition, then you need to reevaluate probably your decision making. And we are now so well informed with evidence out there and stats and you know the publications that put stuff out all the time. You know, we need to now stand out when marketing property, and that's an opportunity for you to invest in your campaign rather than retract.
I totally agree with that. Just the final point on that, Tom. I had my personal experience. But the property I am right now was that exact example. We were looking for suburbs, and our decision was we were looking for a suburb to a certain point from a travel point of view years and years ago, because obviously, you know, everyone had to travel to work every single day. And we could never find everything we wanted. And then we said, okay, we'll look to a wider suburb. And this took about 6 months, and we'll go one more suburb further away. And at that stage, the technology didn't have it that it automatically pushed some of that wider suburbs naturally into the selection net. And as soon as we were in one suburb and next, we found a place, we literally saw it and bought it a week later. But if that was just sucked in, as you say, in there, and from the technology that is there at the moment, you can pay for it, we would have found it way quicker and way easier. And as the seller, they would have sold way quicker as well, because we would have found the dream place. And we would have come out and we've gone, hey, it's a little bit further, but it gives it everything that we want.
Yeah, we did exactly the same thing. We were driving away from a property in the suburb that we wanted. And I was like, I saw a signboard and I was like, I haven't seen that one online. Walked into the open home, which just happened to be on. It was like, everything was working in my favor. And I'm like, then I searched the address on the portal, and I'm like, okay, it's in this random suburb. You know, I wonder why they've done that. Nobody was there, poorly marketed, great property. I'm still in it now. I've been in there 4.5 years. It's like my dream home. Wrong suburb, you know, and so they should have just pushed it a little bit further. It's, I don't know, extra $100, but I would have been driving to see that property instead of accidentally finding it like we both have with our homes at the moment. So
awesome. Thanks for that, Tom. And as always, thanks for coming over to the Daily Nugget. Daily Property Insights. One topic, 20 minutes or less. And as always,